is up, everybody? This is Brax Taylor, and this is Raven Outdoors. So, guys, I had a crazy experience just a few days ago, and I wanted to come on here and share it with you all because, of course, it's very much outdoor related. Of course, it's hiking and out in the woods and an animal experience. And so let's just jump right into it. As if if you've already read the title, you already kind of know what's going on, but just to give you a very high overview of things, just a few days ago, I was in Tennessee. I was in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. Just took a quick trip by myself just because I wanted to get away and did some hiking done. I had a little time off, so just went down there to have some fun. And while I was down there, the primary goal was to hike. The primary goal was to be in the park. So that previous Saturday, I was in the park basically all day. And I hit up a bunch of different trails. I hit up, some kind of easier, quick ones. I was in Cosby and did some different trails over there. And then I came back into Gatlinburg through that entrance of the park and hit up Alum Cave. And I did some walking on the Appalachian Trail. And then kind of to cap off the whole day, I wanted to do a bigger hike, a more kind of strenuous hike just to end it all. So I went to Chimney Top. And if anyone knows anything about Chimney Top, it's a very, very difficult hike. The distance is not crazy. I think it's like 2 to 2.5 miles up and then obviously 2 to 2.5 down. So a total of anywhere between 4 and 5 miles, but it's the elevation that is really strenuous. But as I went to hike this, I went up there to kind of end the day on Saturday. I went up and I was up there at this peak for a while, and then I started to come back down, and lo and behold, as the title suggests, I had interactions with a bear. And like I said, I'm not going to get too crazy into it because I do have a couple of videos that you're about to watch that I recorded at the time of. So we're going to watch those 2 videos and we're going to come back afterwards, and then we're going to kind of break it down, and I'm going to give you some of the kind of observations and the lessons learned that I got from that experience that I wanted to share with each and every one of you, just to kind of just give some awareness of the situation, and if nothing else, give you a little entertainment along the way. So like I said, one last thing that I wanted to clarify is there's 2 videos you're about to see. The first video is going to be kind of a live reaction, a live video of that incident of when I was on the trail and I saw the bears. So it's only unfortunately about 5 or 6 minutes long, and it doesn't really get into the kind of the meat of the interaction, so to speak, right? The crazy stuff. Because once I realized, okay, I might have to confront this bear, I decided I'm going to put the camera away because I need to focus on, what I'm doing and have both hands, right? So that's the first video you're going to watch. Second video is kind of a reaction explanation video that I recorded in my car, like right after I got down from the trail, got in my car, started recording, right? So that's going to give you some context of kind of what happened, a little more details of what was going on and how it resolved. And so, like I said, sit back, relax, grab your popcorn. If nothing else, be entertained. But then if you wanted to stick around afterwards, I want to come back and we're going to discuss what happened and what we can learn from it.
Whoa, bear. Whoa, bear. Get. Hey. Go on. Go on, bear. Go on, bear. Hey. Go on, bear. Go on, bear. Well, man, I don't even know what to do. There ain't no exit behind me. Got my bear spray, but I don't want to have to use it. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 there's a cub. There's a cub. There's a cub. That's a mama. Oh, Jesus. do. Man, I don't know what to do. Gosh, dang it. Whoa, bear. Whoa, bear. Come on, get down. Get out of here. Come on, get out of here. There's people coming too, so hopefully. No, 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 no. Whoa, bear. Whoa, bear. Whoa, bear. Oh, man. Get out of here. Come on. I don't have nothing but my bear spray, which I have not even used ever. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Why aren't they moving? Just another Sunday afternoon for them. I can't go back because there's no outlet back behind me. Hey, bear. Man, I don't know what to do. Yeah, she's looking at me. Let's go back up a little bit. Give me some space. Gotta be careful. There's a cliff right next to me. I am scared. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I should be. Maybe I shouldn't be. I don't know. But I am scared. If it was just a bear, it would be one thing. But if it because of the cubs, that's what scares me. Mom will be real defensive. Oh man. Man, it's crazy. That was my bear spray. Making sure it even works. Come on now, bear. 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 Hey now. She's just gonna sit down. Are you kidding me? Please move. Oh, she's laying down. Oh, man, I don't know what to do. And there's no service up here. Whoa now, bear. Whoa now, bear.
Okay, so pretty crazy video. And it only gets crazier from there. I wanted to make just a video because I need to just kind of record this event, you know, how wild it was, and I'm sure a lot of people are wanting to know the results of that. So basically, to give context, I kind of say it in the video a little bit, but I had hiked up to Chimney Tops Peak, I guess. I'm not really entirely sure what you call it. Chimney Tops in Tennessee, in Smoky Mountains. So it's about 2 miles, I think, 2.5, maybe, I don't know, something like that, up the mountain, and hiked up there and kicked my butt. I swore out, and I was up at the peak by myself for probably better part of an hour, just up there taking pictures, relaxing, just enjoying the view and resting from the arduous trek that was up there. So anyway, like I said, but this like entire time I was by myself, and I was up there for so long, and I was kind of like sitting there still, quiet, that like birds were landing next to me, and a little mouse came up next to me. So I'm like, wow, this is really nice, you know, like the little bit of a, you know, wildlife interaction is really cool, you know. And I literally thought, well, it would be really crazy, and I hope not, that a bear would show up, you know, because, you know, in Tennessee, you know, or I guess Smoky Mountains is like the big thing, like, oh, see a bear, see a bear. I'm like, well, it's one thing to see a bear when you're in your car. It's another thing when you're, again, 2 miles up on the side of a mountain by yourself, exhausted from a really hard hike, and it's getting dark. Or it's about to get dark, should I say, and it's blocking your path. There's no way to get out. You're trapped. So it's a little less desirable, I guess you could say. Long story short, like I said, as you saw in the video, bear comes up, and it's sitting there, and I'm hollering at it, trying to get it to go away, and you know, hey, if it's one bear, and you know, yeah, it can be a threat, but at the end of the day, you know, you can probably, especially a black bear, you can probably scare it away. But the big plot twist, right, turn of events, was that 2 cubs came out, which was a little scary, as you can see in the video. You know, if you know anything about, I mean, I guess any species, right, but especially black bear, you know, if there's cubs, they're highly defensive. And luckily, as you can see in the video, the mom was not overtly aggressive, but as you'll hear later in the story, it does get there a little bit. So I'm trying to holler, I'm trying to scream, I'm trying to wave my backpack and my jacket that I was wearing, because it was raining, and trying to just make noise, trying to make myself known. Just, they're not moving, they're not doing anything. And eventually I bring out, again, thankfully I had bear spray. Hey, you know, if you think that you don't need something like that, I promise you, I thought the same thing. You do. Long story short, like I said, I keep saying long story short. So I honestly, I've never used it before. So I pull off the cap, and I held my phone in one hand, and I wanted to test it out, because I'm like, I've never even used this. I don't know if it even works. And you know, and also, you know, like, why are you recording this? Like, well, I mean, come on. First of all, there's a bear, you know, in front of me. I'm gonna record it. A, and B, if I do die up on the side of a mountain, I do want to have some sort of context for people as to what happened. Anyway, a little dramatic, but so as you see in the video, I think I kind of flinch a little bit when I do it, but I spray it, and it kind of has that hissing noise, and yeah, it scared the bears, obviously. So the 2 cubs shot up the tree, which I'm not sure if it was a good thing or a bad thing in the end, but long story short, you know, the cubs shot up the tree, and so the mom jumps, you know, kind of hunches up her shoulders, drops her head, and starts chuffing at me, you know, and basically, hey, I'm gonna attack you, you know. And so I'm like, well, okay, let's back up a little bit. And long story short, I keep saying that, but I really am cutting out a lot, because I was up there for about 45 minutes, if not longer. I didn't even time it, obviously, but I'm up there by myself. It was scary. It was pretty adrenaline inducing. So eventually I hear people start coming up, because I see it in the video, but there wasn't anyone coming. Sorry, I'm coming through a tunnel. Anyway, so I thought I heard someone, but there wasn't. It wasn't until like 20 or 30 minutes later that people start coming. So I hear them come up the trail, and I start screaming. I'm like, hey, careful, there's a bear up here. And they're like, what? Finally I get the message across. I'm like, hey, there's a bear and cubs up here. And unfortunately / fortunately, they start coming closer. So obviously it's a bad thing, because the bear now feels trapped, A, and B, probably a little threatened, and if it startles, it's either going to run towards me or it's going to run towards them. And so that's unpredictable. But it was slightly good, because I thought, like, man, if I'm going to die or get mauled on the side of this mountain, at least there's going to be someone to drag me off, or report it to somebody. So long story short, I would keep saying that. Anyway, so I eventually, I'm feeling trapped, because I literally am. It's starting to get kind of dark out, as you can kind of see. It's still light, but it's getting dark. And so I'm up on the side of the mountain. I'm exhausted. I'm severely out of shape, as you can tell. And and so I'm trapped on the side of a mountain, 2 miles up, exhausted, and there is a bear in front of me. Keeps chuffing. It keeps, lowering its shoulders and acting like it's going to charge at me. So eventually I told these people, I'm like, I'm going to have to do something, guys. So back up, do whatever you need to do. I'm going to have to do something to get out of this, So I, eventually I'm just like, I just start going crazy. I'm just like, bear, get out of here, all that stuff, I'm not going to do it in the video because it's a little goofy, but at the time, it doesn't matter how goofy it is. You're fighting for your survival. So at least that's what it feels like anyway. Maybe it's a little dramatic, but so anyway, so I start hollering crazy, and I start kind of stomping at it. As soon as I start stomping at it and getting a little closer, it starts jumping up, and it starts kind of chuffing at me and lowering its shoulders like it's gonna do something. And long story short, I keep saying that. If you know me, unfortunately, when I'm telling a story, I do that way too often. So eventually I'm just like, I got to do something. So I pull my backpack in front of me like a shield, like that's going to do anything, and then I have my bear spray in my right hand, and I just start running at this bear, and I'm just like, hey, bear, go. I'm screaming, I'm hollering, I'm getting all like guttural, and I start, as I start running towards it, because I'm thinking like, this is kind of like my last ditch effort, it gets up and it starts coming at me, kid you not, and the defense of its babies, obviously. And so I just start, as I'm running, spraying my bear spray, and and it was terrifying and comical at the same time. But terrifying and comical, but thankfully, I somehow didn't get any bear spray on me as I'm running towards this bear. Anyway, but just moral of the story: if you see a black bear with its cubs, just know that nothing is going to dissuade it from being where it's at, until you inflict some sort of pain. Now, obviously, I don't want to inflict pain. As I said in the video, I didn't even want to use my bear spray. It's just there. It's living its life. It's protecting its cubs. I don't want to do anything. But anyway, I'm charging at it. I'm screaming. I'm hollering. I got my backpack up, and I'm waving it, and it starts coming at me. So like I said, the last second, as soon as the bear spray touched its face, it kind of winced like that, and then it kind of opened its eyes again. I just kept spraying, obviously, and so it finally starts backing up, and it goes down that hill a little bit, and so I start getting closer, and it starts coming back up the hill. And so I just keep spraying it, and finally, like, when I could tell like this thing's not going to chase me, I just booked it. And these people are running back with me, and they're like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" But I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine, yeah." But it was a crazy experience. I've never experienced anything like this in my life, and yeah, some might say it was a harrowing life in-depth experience, and might say, oh, you're being dramatic, and it might be true, but I like to give myself a little benefit of the doubt there. So, crazy experience. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, we are back after watching those crazy videos. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Did you think it was pretty crazy, or maybe it might be a little dramatic? I don't know. But during the time of, I was pretty shook, right? I was a little worried. Like I said, when you're up there by yourself, you don't know what to expect, right? You don't know what to do, and so it's up to you solely to figure out how to proceed. So pretty crazy experience. As you could tell in my reaction video, I was a little high strung. I was riding the high of that adrenaline, and I was a little all over the place there, but yeah, crazy experiences. So after all of that being said and all of that being done, there are kind of three major things that I observed during this experience, and three major lessons that I feel like I had taken out of this. And it's really nothing too crazy, right? It's nothing too like groundbreakingly different or new, but it is something that A, it reminded me of, and B, it's something I need to continue to work on. And I wanted to share those things with you very quick, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it in the comments, because I'm sure there's probably so many more that I could talk about. So number one thing that I learned from this experience is be prepared, right? Number one is be prepared. You don't really know what you're going to encounter for sure, right? And so you really need to be prepared for each situation that you're in. And this can apply to more than just this can apply to much more than just being outdoors, right? This is everyday life stuff, but in this context, because we're talking about outdoor stuff, this is what I'm gonna to lean into. So obviously, right, we can't go out every day with a 600-pound backpack with every single item we could think of. That's just unrealistic. But one of the big things that I wanted to implement, within my life, even more after this experience, is when you're about to go out into the woods, right? When you're about to go on a trip, you're going to go hike, you're going to go backpack, you're about to go camp, or do whatever you're going to do, carefully evaluate what you're about to do. Think about all of the factors that are playing into what you're doing. So you're going to go hike and camp or whatever. Okay, look at the location. Is it bear country? Is there going to be elk or moose there, or whatever it may be? Take the precautions that are necessary for those areas. If you're going to go hike, do you maybe need some some water, some electrolytes, some snacks? Do you need some first aid, which you probably need all of those things, right? But carefully evaluate where you're going to be. What are the factors that are going to play into it? So be prepared. Think about the things, and then curate your loadout. If that's if that's the word you want to use, your everyday carry, whatever, your backpack. If you're going to go hike or camp or whatever, curate those items. To accommodate where you're going to be. You can't anticipate everything, but before you go do something, that's my number one observation and lesson learned, is just be prepared as best that you possibly can. And even if it's something you don't, as I said in the video, right? Even if it's something that you don't entirely feel like you're going to need, i.e. bear spray. I've had the thing for probably 3 years and never used it, but I absolutely am so glad that I had it that day. So that's number one. Just be prepared, and just take time before you're about to do an activity to evaluate what you may or may not need and what factors may play into what you're about to do. So my second tip, or my second observation, my second lesson learned, is don't be alone. So that's way easier said than done for a lot of people, and myself included, right? I totally get that. But that is the biggest thing, one of the biggest things that I took away from this, is that, obviously I would not want someone to be there with me in the sense that, they were in danger or they were afraid as well. But if someone else was with me, or maybe even 2 or 3 people were with me, or whoever, right? it very well may have mitigated the whole circumstance in the first place, right? You know, if I was with other people, it is very possible that we made enough noise that it deterred the bears from even coming up the hill, right? If I was with other people, I may have not been at the peak for nearly as long as I was, and therefore we would have never even had crossed paths with the bear. And then, but last but not least, if I had other people with me, then they would help me be able to determine what we need to do, or if they need to, I need to distract the bear so they can run, or they distract the bear so I can, get up my pepper spray, whatever it may be. It's always a safe bet to have somebody else with you, even if it's just one other person. You can have as the military says, your battle buddy, right? Is that you have somebody there with you to help you, to assist you. Because here's the thing: if nothing else, and this doesn't even have to do with just the bear, right? This bear incident. Even if you're just hiking and you're out in the woods and you twist your ankle, what if I fell at the top of Chimney Top because I was tired and I broke my ankle, or I sprained something, and I couldn't walk out? Well, when I'm by myself, who knows what would have happened, right? But if I had somebody else with me, then they could have, called for help, got help to come back up with them. They could have, helped me, put my arm around them, what I'm saying? So there's so many different factors. That's my another, second big thing is make sure you have someone with you. So here's another thing. Again, that may not be an option for some people. You may not really have a lot of friends or family that can go with you, which was my circumstance this previous weekend. And this is my other tip or suggestion is that, first of all, if you have to go by yourself, save your big hikes for when you can go with people, right? If you're just dying to go on this big chimney top hike or this big alum cave hike, if at all possible, just try to save those hikes for when you have somebody with you, or you can have someone with you. And again, if you can't, my second kind of little sub tip here is that perhaps maybe go during a time that it's going to be maybe not super busy, because I know none of us want to be out in the woods when there's a billion people, right? But maybe go when there's other people that are going to be on the trail with you to some degree. As you saw in the video, later on, somebody, or like a group of people, ended up coming about 20 or 30 minutes later, during this event with the bear. And I said in the video, it was kind of bad because they was trapping the bear and stuff, but it was a bit of a relief because I'm like, oh man, at least someone's going to be here to carry me out, or call on the park rangers or whatever. So that's my second tip. I know I'm not even going to follow this 100%. There's still going to be short little treks in the woods, that I take that are probably going to still be by myself. But for the big hikes and the more dangerous hikes, make sure that you have somebody with you. And last but not least, my last observation and lesson learned throughout this whole process is to know nature, right? To know the outdoors. And that's kind of a very broad term, right? It's a very broad observation, but it's like at the end of the day, and it ties in with the other two observations, is that, guys, nature in the outdoors, they're wild and it's unpredictable. I mean, there is some predictability to it, but in this modern day life that we live in, and with technology and in cities and towns and stuff, things are very, very predictable. That a car is not, typically, right, gonna run into you because they have a red light and you have the green light. There's things that you can predict because of the systems that we have in place. That some dangers and things are going to be mitigated because of the technology and things that we have nowadays. But when you're in the wild, you play by the wild's rules. And so just know that nature is beautiful, and I encourage you to get out into nature, as I still will, I'm already planning a couple hikes here in just a little bit, because I love it, and I hope that you love it as well, because there's so much beauty out in nature. But we have to make sure that we are not ignorant of nature and its attributes as well. Because at the end of the day, as cute and cuddly and as beautiful as those bears were, they're still wild animals, and they still can do some harm. So always precautions, be prepared, and do some other precautions in terms of not being alone if you can help it. But also, last but not least, just know that when you're out in the woods, it's not, it's not a playground, it's not a theme park. The wild, the outdoors, nature does not play by the same rules that modern society does. So just be very cautious, but get out there and have fun and explore. Just make sure you do it safely. So guys, that's going to wrap up the video. Again, I had a great time being out there in the mountains and hiking, and I plan to do it again very soon. But like I said, a lot of things to take away from this, and hopefully be a little safer while we're out there. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was, if nothing else, a little entertaining, but I hope you also took something away from this video, and may not be something that you completely didn't know, but maybe it brought a little more awareness and remembrance to your mind on some of these things. So guys, again, I am Braxton Taylor. This is Raven Outdoors, and although we should do it with some precaution and preparedness, as I always say, let's get outdoors.